The town was still standing, not because the world had been kind to it, because the people inside it refused to let it fall. Every morning, every decision, every sacrifice, that was the only reason. From the outside, it looked like any other town. Smoke rising, lights on, people moving. But looks are built from distance. Up close, everything told a different story. The cold wasn't coming anymore. It had arrived, and it had stayed. Children still ran through the streets, not fast, not far, but they ran. And for a town that had lost almost everything, that still meant something. Everyone inside knew the same thing. They didn't talk about it. They didn't need to. It was in the numbers, in the temperatures, in the way the engineer looked at the wall and said nothing. Time was running out. Not dramatically, not all at once. The way a fire dies, not in an explosion, but in a slow, quiet disappearance of everything that kept it burning. This winter was different. The storms had gone quiet. The wind had stopped. Even the snow no longer fell. It froze in the air, suspended, as if the atmosphere itself had given up moving. Snow doesn't freeze in the air, except when it does. Except when the cold reaches a depth that rewrites what you thought was possible. This was that cold. This was that depth. November. The first pipe cracked. They fixed it. December. Another crack. Deeper. They fixed it again. January. The engineer placed both hands on the table and told them the truth. The frozen earth no longer accepted repairs. Every fix would fail. Every solution would collapse. The ground beneath them was not damaged. It was gone. 7 people, 1 room, a single bulb, -30 outside. No one spoke first, because no one wanted to be the one who said what everyone already knew. The data had already spoken. Charts, projections, convergence points, all of them pointed to the same date. 6 months, maybe 8. After that, nothing the town could do would matter. Then the oldest engineer spoke. His voice didn't rise, it didn't shake. It simply existed, like stone exists. There is space below. The ground is stable. The temperature is stable. We may not be, but that is our problem to solve. Someone placed a piece of paper on the table. 1 word. No explanation, no argument. Just the direction they were all going, whether they admitted it or not. Down. That paper is still in that room. No one took it. No one needed to. It had already done everything it was ever meant to do. There was a man in the town who had built his house with his own hands. Stone, wood, 30 years of winters. He had come here looking for something real, something that didn't move. He believed he had found it. The morning after the meeting, he went door to door. His voice was quiet. His words were not. We are not leaving. This is our ground. We built this. We stay. People listened, not because it was logical, because it was human. No one wants to leave a home they built with their own hands. 100 signatures, then 150. The leaders read every name. They passed it around the table. They set it down. They had expected resistance, but 150 people willing to stake their lives on staying, that was something different entirely. Construction began while the signatures were still being counted, because there was no time. No time to debate. No time to wait. The machine started at 6 in the morning, and it did not stop. 3 shifts, 8 hours each, around the clock. The sound carried across the entire town. Everyone heard it. No one could pretend it wasn't happening. The first 10 meters were brutal. Ice veins, rock formations, hidden hollow pockets. Every meter was a fight. Every obstacle was a new calculation. The engineers didn't sleep. There was no time for sleep. They worked by headlamp, by hand, by instinct. Plans were redrawn in the margins of other plans. Arguments were had and resolved in the span of minutes, because minutes were all they had. At the 15th meter, the ground changed. She pressed her bare hand against the wall, held it there, closed her eyes. "This," she said, "this will hold." The first engineering crisis was not power, it was light. The human brain runs on sunlight. Remove it, and the clock inside drifts. Sleep fractures. Judgment weakens. Small disagreements become the kind that don't end. The solution was glass. Thousands of thin fiber optic conduits running from the surface into every room, every corridor, every corner, carrying what little light remained above, delivering it below. Mornings turned golden. Midday went white. Evenings faded to amber. The brain received its signal. The clock stayed calibrated. The brain was deceived, and that was enough. A child woke up underground and reached toward the light, not because she understood the system, because her body told her it was morning. It worked. 6 weeks in, a section of the tunnel collapsed, 30 meters deep. No one was inside. No one was hurt. But the sound traveled through the ground and into the foundations of every building above. Everyone felt it before they heard it. In the stone house, a coffee cup trembled on the table. The man looked down at it, then at the floor beneath his feet. He had spent 10 years looking up at the sky. This was the first time he looked down. The next morning, he came to the site, not with 100 people, alone. "The earth doesn't want us down there," he said. The workers kept working. He raised his voice. The workers kept working. The old engineer walked over. He looked at the man with the full attention of someone who has no time left for anything less than truth. "The earth may not want us, but we are here, and we will stay, just somewhere different." The man walked home. That night, he stood at his window for a long time. He didn't look at the frozen sky. He looked at the floor, at the ground beneath his feet, at what was below it. Construction took 4 months. Every day, more was finished than the day before. Tunnels widened. Rooms took shape. Corridors connected. What had been a shaft in the ground became something else entirely. A place. Every room received a screen. News kept coming. Music kept coming. Children kept learning. From teachers in the same tunnel, and from platforms thousands of kilometers away. The rest of the world was freezing. Surface temperatures dropping. Cities emptying. Governments going quiet. But this place, this underground, hand-built, calculated place, never cut its connection. Not once. Life continued. Not as it was. Not as anyone had planned. But it continued, which is the only thing that has ever mattered. On the last day, he walked through the empty town alone. Every building dark, every door closed. His footsteps the only sound in a place that had once held thousands of lives. He stood at the mouth of the tunnel. Above him, pale, dead, frozen sky. Below him, light. Warm, steady, alive. The sound of people. The sound of machines. The sound of something that refused to stop. He took one step, then another. The surface disappeared above him. The light grew stronger below. Not daylight, but close enough. Morning gold. This was not a defeat. This was not a retreat. This was the oldest human story, told one more time, in one more impossible place, by people who refused to stop. The town didn't abandon the surface. It rebuilt what the surface could no longer give. And that, as it had always been, was enough.